Field trip to the moon. It's April 13th, 2100. Today, Mrs. Johnston's second grade class is going on a field trip to the moon. The class is in a small room. Mrs. Johnston is reviewing rules and facts for the trip. They have heard the same talk many times before. Now they are all too excited to listen. However, Samantha is not too excited to listen. She is nervous. It will be her first time in space. Space travel frightens her. "Remember," says Mrs. Johnston, "when we blast off, you will be pressed against your seat. During the first phase of our trip, you will feel very heavy. This is normal. It will go away." Samantha writes, "Heavy feeling is normal," in her notebook. She hopes having the reminder will help her stay calm when she feels the strange heaviness. Mrs. Johnson continues, "Once we are in space, there will be no air and no gravity. The captain will tell us when it is safe to unfasten our seatbelts. Then we can float in the cabin." Samantha thinks she will stay safely strapped into her seat. "Just before we land on the moon, I'll give you instructions about how we will spend our time there. Before we board, are there any questions about our trip to the moon?" Samantha raises her hand. She doesn't have a question. She wants to delay boarding as long as possible. When Mrs. Johnston calls her name, Samantha tries to think of a question. Finally, Samantha says, "I forgot my question." The students put on their spacesuits. Then they go into the spaceship. They take their seats and strap themselves in. Soon the countdown begins. 10, 9, 8. Samantha's heart races. 7, 6, 5. Her palms are sweaty. 4, 3, 2. She wants to get out of the spaceship. 1, 0. Blast off! Samantha squeezes her eyes shut. She grips the armrests on her seat. She screams because she knows no one can hear her over the roar of the engines. It is loud. The spaceship shakes as it blasts off from the ground. Samantha has never felt anything like it. After a few minutes, the ride becomes more quiet and smooth. Samantha finally opens her eyes. She sees Mrs. Johnston pointing to the window. Samantha looks out. She sees a blue, green, and white sphere. It looks like a marble, but it is Earth. Samantha thinks it is a beautiful sight. Soon the spaceship makes it into space. Samantha relaxes a little. She giggles as a few stray pencils float past her. It is an odd sight. The captain announces that the students can unbuckle their seatbelts. At first, Samantha leaves hers on. She watches her friends float around. Jim opens a bottle of juice. He turns it upside down. It does not pour out. Instead, small drops rise up into the air. They form one big glob. Amy pulls her knees into her chest. She leans forward and does a full rotation in the air. The students look like they are having fun. Samantha decides to try. She unbuckles her seatbelt. She floats over to Alyssa. Samantha mouths, "This is fun." Alyssa does not see. Samantha's visor only reflects Alyssa's own image. So Samantha waves. Alyssa waves back. After several hours, the captain tells the students to return to their seats. They will soon be landing. Samantha sees the moon out the window. Suddenly the captain says, "I need the help of a student. Please come to the flight deck." Mrs. Johnson asks Samantha to go. Samantha remembers her fears of space travel. She wonders if something is wrong. The captain's voice sounded worried. Samantha goes to the flight deck. The captain explains that one of the landing gear legs won't come down. They cannot land safely without it. The captain points to a small door in the floor. Only a small adult or a child could fit through it. The captain asks Samantha if she will go through the door and pull the last leg down into place. Samantha is afraid, but she agrees. Samantha crawls through the tiny door. She sees the stuck gear leg. She pulls on it, but it does not move. Samantha knows the pilot needs to land soon. She pulls again. She pulls as hard as she can. It does not come down. Samantha looks up. She sees the captain looking down at her. Try one more time, Samantha. I believe in you. You can do this. Samantha puts both hands on the landing gear. She takes a deep breath. When she blows out the breath, she pushes as hard as she can. The leg comes down and locks into place. She did it! Samantha has saved the trip. Samantha goes back to her seat. The children clap for her. Samantha is more excited about the rest of the trip. She feels much stronger and braver than before. The end.